All right, we're going to do all these scale positions. And, when I do all these scales, these were all positions that I just had to memorize, right? Oops. I'm not too sharp at that, am I? Of all things, I found a little formula that was on the fretboard, and for all I know, everybody knows about this except me. So I need to establish a little protocol for this entire lesson. In all these scales, right, there's usually 3 notes per string. When there's 3 notes per string, which is usually the case, 2 of those fingers are going to be your index and your pinky, right? So if I say ring, I actually mean index, ring, pinky. And if I say middle, I actually mean index, middle, pinky. The pinky and the index are implied. All right, remember when I say a ring, I'm actually implying the index, ring, and pinky. So I'm on the 2nd fret. Index, ring, pinky, index, ring, pinky. Now 2 rings is followed by 2 notes. And then 2 notes is followed by 2 middles. Index, middle, pinky, and then I have a little shift here, index, middle, pinky. And then the last, and when I say middle, I'm implying index, middle, pinky, right? 2 middles are followed by 2 rings. In this case, I only have room for 1 ring. So to summarize, 2 rings are followed by 2 notes, are followed by 2 middles, followed by 2 rings, 2 notes, 2 middles, etc. When you play that little 2-note event on the D string, index, ring, you'll notice that we have a negative shift in the position to go to the next string. So the 2-note event produces a negative shift, right? Now, due to the tuning of the B string, it requires us to shift forward to stay in scale. So due to the tuning of the B string, a positive shift is required, right? So here again, 2 notes produces a negative shift. The B string requires a positive shift. We're going to look at the first string again, and the last 2 notes are going to start our next scale. So I've got my index and my middle on those previous last 2 notes, right? The next shape starts with 2 middles. What follows 2 middles? 2 rings. Now, here comes that B string. And that B string requires that we have a positive shift. And what follows 2 rings is 2 notes. There's my 2 notes. Now, we just had those 2 notes, and that's going to produce a negative shift. Index, middle, pinky. And what follows 2 notes is 2 middles. But we only have room for 1 middle here. Right? All right, so we're going to look at the first string again. And we're going to play those last 3 notes. So that very last note is going to be the start of the next scale. The next scale starts with a ring, right? And when I say ring, I actually mean index, ring, pinky. It's the second of 2 rings. You just have to trust me that I'm correct. And then what follows 2 rings? 2 notes. Right? And then that 2 notes is going to produce a negative shift. And what follows 2 notes is 2 middles. And then here comes that B string, right? 2 middles are followed by 2 rings, and the B string requires a positive shift. All right, we're going to look at that first string again. The last 2 notes are going to start the next scale. So this next scale starts with a middle, and it's the second of 2 middles. Here again, you have to trust me that I'm correct. What follows 2 middles? 2 middles are followed by 2 rings, and 2 rings are followed by 2 notes. Now, we're coming up on that B string, And we also just followed two notes. So the two notes produces a negative shift, and the B string requires a positive shift. Therefore, the shift is neutralized, right? So there's no shift. We just stay on our fret, and two notes are followed by two middles, right? All right, we're going to look at that first string again, and the final scale is going to start with the last note of the first string. But first of all, I want to review what we've gone through. We've had scales that start with two rings, two middles, the second of two rings, the second of two middles. How do we start the last scale? Two notes, right? Here's our first, we got our two notes, and then two notes produces a negative shift, and that's followed by two middles. And then two middles is followed by two rings. We're going to do that first ring, and here comes the B string. It requires a positive shift. And what follows two rings, last but not least, is two rings is followed by two notes. Now you want to make sure you apply this. And so on YouTube I found a little track by Tom Bailey Music called Happy Acoustic Guitar Backing Track in A Major. It's a fun little sounding thing. So as I play over this song, I just add some licks. Nothing really big, not a whole bunch of notes, right? Right? Then maybe try another position. Go through a number of different positions. So you should stay on one position for a good while. You know, don't keep moving and moving. I got a bunch of playing to do. You need to explore the space that you're in, and then maybe the next go around, explore another space, you know. Anyway, good luck with that.